This is a study on flamenco structure, specifically speaking when you have all elements of flamenco present, that being singers, guitarists, dancers, and percussionists, and they're all communicating. This could be in a setting where you're performing, like in a tablao or in a theater, or this could just be friends just getting together and having fun. But there's a language to flamenco, and when we say structure, really that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the language of flamenco. It's basically just deciphering the communication process between people. Okay, Elettra. Now Elettra is a little mini song sung by a singer, and it follows a certain structure. Now it's very important to learn this, probably the most important thing in flamenco, because flamenco starts with cante, so everything stems from cante. So if you can understand the different types of letras and familiarize yourself with them, then you'll be able to, as a dancer for example, put steps that fit that structure. Or if you're a guitarist, you'll figure out how innovative ways to accompany that letra and to play tones in the correct places and in places that make sense, because ultimately we really want to float the cante. We want to do everything we can so that the singer, when they sing, can fully engage in the communication process with everybody else. Falsetta. Now falsetta is when a guitarist plays something that gets away from just simple compás, instead of just repeating the same chords that we come to know as the compás of that particular palo or song style, and is playing something that's like a little mini solo or a mini song. Now when a guitarist is playing as a soloist, they can play falsettas that are very complex and go a lot of different places and function as a something that helps to bring completion to their total piece, to the total guitar piece. If a guitarist is playing for just a singer, for example, they can play falsettas, but it's like taking turns. So when the singer's singing, you support the singer, you play things that cause the cante to really be able to resonate and have and really have its full effect. And then in between, you'll get your opportunities as a guitarist to play falsettas, and you can go a lot of different places with those, and you can get pretty complex within that two-person dynamic as well. Now when we're talking about with a dancer in the mix, guitarists do play falsettas, but usually because a dancer is going to be having to be the visual for what you're playing, you're not going to play something that's super complex unless you've already set it together with that dancer, or you know for a fact that that person is familiar with what you're playing. If you come up with something that is very complex and doesn't, for example, repeat a lot of ideas, it's going to be very difficult for the dancer to come up with something to dance on the spot. So it's a good idea to take into account as a guitarist, who am I playing with and what is the dynamic, and then you'll know what kind of opportunities you'll have to play falsettas and what types of falsettas you should play. Escovilla. So escovilla is when a dancer does a footwork section. Now a footwork section is not simply just percussive footwork, it's actually a discernible section and pattern where you probably will hear repeats or repeats of ideas within that footwork section, so that it feels like a footwork solo, like it's something unto itself. Now you'll hear dancers a lot of times do a lot of footwork, but a lot of times what they're doing are just simply amount to steps that match what's happening with the music. So in Elettra, for example, they might choose to hit their feet and do footwork steps in ways that match the cante or the letra that's happening. Or if the guitarist is playing a falsetta, they might choose to put footwork with the falsetta in specific places, again, that boost the music, that make sense with the music. Now conceivably you could take an escovilla and a falsetta and match them so that the whole falsetta is backed by footwork percussion. So it's almost like the person who's dancing is now kind of being a percussionist and almost accompanying the guitarist in a sense, because they've put together this section that is matching something that gets away from just playing simple chords into a full-on song, and you're like the percussion for the song as the dancer if you do an escobilla in that way. Okay, Yamada. Now a Yamada is simply what's in Spanish a call. In flamenco it serves as a signal. And a Yamada as a signal is, for example, a guitarist or a dancer, for example, doing this rhythmic section, a small rhythmic section, that asks the singer to sing. It's like calling them in. And this is something you'll see in specific videos, but just so you understand, the function of a Yamada is to signal somebody to do something. Most of the time it's to get the singer to sing, but you can also do a Yamada that's to signal a guitarist to play something specific. Or a guitarist can actually play a Yamada to signal you as a dancer to do something. Most of the time, if there's a dancer involved, they're the ones doing the Yamadas. In other words, they're the ones asking for participation from the singer and the guitarist. Okay, desplante. A desplante from the dancer's end is at least 2 compás, and it functions like a Yamada. But it doesn't have to be specifically just to call in some singer or guitarist, but it can also be put to match things that are already happening in the music. So let's see, the singer's already singing. You can put a desplante on top of what they're singing to further boost the whole letra. Now you can also put a desplante in a falsetto, music that's already happening, so long as it matches. But a desplante is, it usually looks the same, like in a bulería. A desplante usually has certain characteristics about it, both in sound and visually, that let you know that it's a desplante, and you'll see that in other videos. An estribillo. An estribillo is what a singer sings, as opposed to being a letra. This is now more like a chorus in a song, or a hook. So an estribillo a lot of times is what you'll hear sung at the end of a piece, just like you hear a chorus at the end of a song on any pop tune you can probably come up with. It's a lot of times the way they'll end or culminate or bring everything full circle. They'll sing this chorus over and over and over to finish. A lot of times when you hear an estribillo sung for a dancer, it's usually when they're on their way off the stage or finishing what they did. And it's just a nice way to culminate everything.